Everyone checking in on the market, and we have a bit of indecision up here at the weekly resistance on the S&P 500. We've been looking at 280.40, 281.22, 281.15, all those resistance levels from back before the dump got brutal, and we're slowing down. This might be the first red candlestick on the weekly time frame, but in order for the bears to prove anything for me, I need to see a loss of the daily uptrend, and at this point, the daily higher low is still at 276.35. If we get some follow through from this inside bar bullish tomorrow, then our daily higher low will move up to 277.48. But the lack of any follow through tells me this is still the same period of consolidation for the last 3 days because we have not broken the lower high each candlestick while it's been pulling back. So I'm still using that as my key level, but it's very clear there's indecision here. And look at the RSI on the daily. We hit that 70 mark, we pulled back, we tried and hit it again, a little bit of bearish divergence, and now pulling back yet again. So things are getting interesting here into tomorrow and to start off March, and we're watching the hourly time frame. We had a bull start, and let's just take off extended hours to see clarity. We had a bullish start to the morning. We could not break 279.59. We rejected by 14 cents, and then at the end of the day, we did break to a little lower low there. So with extended hours on, very similar action, but we can see the bulls are clearly defending the mid 278s. So if tomorrow we break the mid 278s, we'll be looking back down at the low of the pullback to this point, 277.48. IWM also showing that weakness still, also still holding that support. Remember that 4-hour head and shoulders pattern we were looking at? There's our left shoulder, there's the head, that was the right shoulder forming, and it's all about 156.12 and 156.06. If we break those levels, that's the loss of the 4-hour uptrend for the first time since back in early February, and that would indicate the daily uptrend is being lost and weekly consolidation is underway if we lose that support level. So key support test tomorrow that the bulls are going to be watching. QQQ on the daily time frame still holding on a little bit stronger than IWM on the 4-hour time frame, watching a similar little head and shoulders pattern, not as clear as it is on IWM, but still watching the daily higher low of 170.71, and the bulls keeping their control as long as that level holds. So a little bit more space to work with on QQQ. Let's look at SPY 4-hour real quick. Not as clear head and shoulders as well. So most clear on IWM and QQQ. Daily uptrend still intact. If everybody looked like QQQ, there'd be a lot more confidence in the bull short term, but the other names are a little bit more uncertain. XLF. Key support is down here, that double low. So here was the other one. It was IWM and XLF that had the head and shoulders. So if we drop down and break 26.36, it is a very clear short-term bear break that has us lose the daily uptrend and look for further weekly consolidation. If the bulls hold these support levels that I'm highlighting tomorrow, then they're just fine heading into next week. VIX, so for the bulls to shift this trend, we have our low, the high of the bounce. Now the bulls need to pull off the higher low and higher high. So here's the pullback, have to hold 1340 and then turn around and break 1620 to change this daily trend for the first time since the top back at the end of December. So things are getting interesting, and we'll see if the bulls are able to form that support level. If bottom fishing this play using a support level, potential entry in TVIX or UVXY, and putting your stop below 27.33. Odds are you're probably going to get stopped out just by going by the trend, but not too bad risk to reward scenario, because if we do get that bull break, probably going to far outweigh the potential risk of the drop to the downside. So I would say it's at least a 2-to-1 reward to risk scenario if that trend does change. Oil on the daily time frame, still battling this resistance level, and where we left off yesterday, the 4-hour time frame was right at that resistance. We pulled back and formed a higher low. Now we have a lower high, so here we are tightening up. This favors the bulls, and the reason I can say this favors the bulls, because this equilibrium from our high to our low, lower high, if we were going to get back to the midway point, we would have pulled back towards 56, but we held up at 56.41, keeping closer to resistance than we are back to the bottom of this move. So tightening up here, and if the bulls can break 57.37 and 57.47, that might offset some market weakness and help the bulls keep control, as that would certainly maintain bullish for oil. But if we were to break that support level and lose this 4-hour little higher low here of 56.41, then we would zoom out to the daily chart and we'd pull back and look for a daily tightening range for a higher low to form on this time frame. So tight on the 4-hour and tight on the daily, they almost look the same. just in this little, very similar. But the 4-hour is obviously going to break first as it is tighter due to time. Natural gas. So we have a bit of a double top in reaction to the inventory report. And this has me cautious where we have the 284 top, 272 for low, double top by 0.6 of a penny, and now we're pulling back. So the bulls must hold 2724. It's worth watching for the potential of a bottom fishing play with that support level if we were to drop down into the mid 270s tomorrow. And obviously, if not in a bullish position at this point, the only plays, in my opinion, are looking to play off of that support level if we get closer to it, or waiting for the double top to see a bull break. So that's where we stand. It's getting interesting. We're watching the daily uptrend still intact. IWM inverse, or I should say regular head and shoulder, and XLF potential regular head and shoulder on watch into tomorrow. After hours right now, we're pretty much where we closed on SPY. Not much is going on. And the range today on SPY was $1.13. So very tight range, and that range is certainly going to break tomorrow, and I would anticipate a little bit of a volume spike when that break does occur. So never a dull moment in the markets. We'll check back in over the weekend. Hope you have a good Friday. As far as end of video content goes, I'm going to start a slideshow series about my road trips and travels around the country and some story time. So we'll get into that over the weekend as well.